Welcome to Fixture Fridays, a great place to talk about the frequency of fixture fatalities. Currently, lumen maintenance is the only way to compare the longevity of two different LED fixtures. As a reminder, this is like a life rating on the LED light source, not the life of the fixture. Other components will probably fail long before the LED boards depreciate that much, especially in real-world use. Manufacturers also report lumen maintenance in different ways, with varying levels of detail. So how do we compare using lumen maintenance numbers, while also managing our expectations? First, focus on the depreciation rate, not the big impressive L70 numbers. 205,000 hours is flashy, but the driver will fail long before then, probably multiple times. If the manufacturer supplies a lumen maintenance value for a specific time frame, you can use that to calculate a depreciation rate. Second, give more credibility to products with a longer test duration. The longer the LEDs were tested, the more reliable the projections are. This information isn't always obvious or even possible to determine from the spec sheet, but it's worth looking for. Typically, a lumen maintenance value that has a footnote regarding the TM21 maximum will give you an implied test duration. For practice, let's compare the lumen maintenance information found on two different product spec sheets, Philips EcoForm and the RAB ALED. Philips publishes a minimum L70 of 60,000 hours for EcoForm. By doing the math, we know the LEDs were tested at least 10,000 hours, which is a very common test duration. They also estimate 88% lumen maintenance after 60,000 hours. That works out to a depreciation rate of 2% every 10,000 hours. So if we ignored TM21 limitations, the calculated L70 for these LEDs would be 150,000 hours. More importantly, will be around 90% of initial output after 50,000 hours, which is the typical expected life of an LED driver. Now, let's look at RAB. I'll just give you a second, in case you're a slow reader. There's very little we can derive from this data because, as we've said before, RAB is very vague about the results of their testing. We don't know how long they tested the LEDs, or what the depreciation rate is. We know TM21 calculations are involved, but they don't specify whether they followed the 6 times limitation. More than 16,000 hours of testing would be required to report an L70 of 100,000 hours according to TM21. None of the leading manufacturers report more than 10,000 hours of testing. It seems RAB is either using unique LEDs that have been tested longer than the LEDs used by every other manufacturer, or they have a similar test duration and are claiming 100,000 hours as a marketing ploy. RAB's products might live up to the 100,000 hour claim with no problem, but the lack of detail and clarity in their reporting makes us uncomfortable. In general, we would prefer a product with more detailed and clear reporting, even if it has less impressive numbers. Ultimately, it's important to be realistic, especially if you're from Jersey. Yes, LED products project farther into the future than any previous lighting technology, but the parts will start to fail, even if it is 8 to 12 years from now. By then, the improvement in new lighting plus the cost of replacing old parts will probably make it more cost-effective to buy an entirely new unit than repair the old one. If you still have questions about lumen maintenance and life ratings, send us an email